Today we're going to be talking about triangle sum properties. Our objective is that we will be able to classify triangles by their sides and angles, find interior and exterior angle measures in triangles, and use properties of isosceles and equilateral triangles. A triangle is a polygon formed by a segment conjoining three non-collinear points. So here's one point, here's another, here's another. They're not in a line. They cannot all be connected by one line. So to classify a triangle, we can classify it by its angle names and by its side names. It is an acute triangle if it has three acute angles. It is obtuse as long as it has one obtuse angle. And it is a right triangle if it has one right angle. An equiangular triangle has three congruent angles. All three of them have to be the same. Equilateral is similar. It has three congruent sides. An isosceles triangle has at least two congruent sides. Therefore, technically a triangle that is equilateral is also isosceles. And then a scalene triangle has no congruent sides. Let's look at some of the parts of a triangle. The corners of a triangle are referred to as vertices. The segments that connect the vertices are called the sides. An angle where two of the sides meets is called an interior angle. And if we were to extend one of the sides, the angle that extension and the outside of the triangle meet are called the exterior angles. There's also some special parts if we have a right or an isosceles triangle. So this is our right triangle. The side across from the right angle is referred to as the hypotenuse, and the other sides are considered the legs. In an isosceles triangle, there are two sides that are congruent. The angles across from those would also be congruent. These congruent sides are called the legs. Switch my color. The other side is considered the base, and these angles that are across from the legs, because they're touching the base, are called base angles. And this vocabulary is going to be very helpful throughout the unit, so make sure you know where these notes are at all times. So like I said, in the base angles, since these sides are congruent, these angles are also congruent. So here, if we know that these are our congruent sides, these angles are going to be congruent. So we know that 2x must equal 70. Divide by 2. That gives us that x is 35 degrees. The corollary to this is saying if we have an equilateral triangle, if all the sides are the same, that tells us also that all the angles are the same, or vice versa. If all the angles are the same, all the sides are the same. So in this example, we know that all the angles are the same, therefore all the sides must be the same. So we can solve for x because we know x plus 6 must equal 8, which means x is 2. And we also know that 4y has to equal 8. So y is also 2. The triangle sum theorem. Put a big star by this. This is probably one of the most important things in all of geometry. This idea is going to come up repeatedly throughout the rest of the course. So, the sum of the angles of a triangle will always be 180 degrees. No matter what the triangle looks like, they're all going to add up to 180 degrees. So, x plus 70 plus 30 has to equal 180. 70 plus 30 is 100. So that means x is the remaining 80 degrees. Our last rule for today is the exterior angle theorem. The measure of the exterior angle is equal to the sum of the opposite interior angles, meaning the interior angles that doesn't touch it. So this angle here and the sum of those angles there. So angle x will equal this angle plus this angle. So x equals 20 plus 50, which means x is 70 degrees. That's all for today. Fill in your summary, and I'll see you in class.